Hi, thanks for joining me today. Happy New Year. And what are your goals for your step family? It's really important to have them. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know every time I post. New Year is a time traditionally where you can set yourself some goals for the future. In a step family, goals are incredibly important. They're slightly different from goals you set yourself in traditional New Year's Eve type settings, but they are, I would say, more important. And I'll tell you why. It's because a lot of stuff you do and put up with in a step family is because you are working towards a long-term goal or ambition or aim. What you're dealing with now, all this dross and chaos and emotional turmoil, is not for now. It's so that later you can realise the benefits of what you've done. In a step family, a lot of it is about helping your stepchildren grow up so that they can become people who can contribute, who can live their lives independently, who can be people in their own right, and ultimately spread their wings and leave home. Ultimately, what you're wanting is an adult-to-adult relationship with your stepchildren, which is mutually collaborative, which you enjoy and they enjoy. Now, you may not get to the enjoyment bit, but what you do want is for them to be independent and not reliant on you. And a lot of this stuff is about setting yourself an end goal in step parenting, which you are working towards. And a lot of the stuff that you're putting up with now is in order to get delayed gratification to get to where you want to be in the end. Because if you're expecting gratitude right now for all this stuff you deal with when you become a step family, then you are quite likely to be sorely disappointed. So, one of the main mantras in step parenting is to think with the end in mind. Think with the end in mind. So, stuff about, shall I make a scene? Shall I pull them up on this? Shall I insist that things are done this way now? Am I wanting this exact behaviour from them? Is it worth fighting over this right now? Those kinds of discussions that you have with yourself in your head needs to be judged against your long-term goal, which is to think with the end in mind. And if you choose to fall out with your stepkids now, then this could affect how good that end goal turns out to be. Now, I know you want and need a life now. I know it has to be tolerable. And I know that this is probably not what you signed up for. It's not what you thought it was going to be. Living and being in a step family is very different in practice than what you're led to believe it could be like. So listen, I'm not trying to pretend that this is an easy choice. And the choices that you do need to make here are, what are your, let's call them red lines? What is it that is totally unacceptable and that you need to insist on to live now? And then what can you let go to get to your end in mind better? And the second area where you need to work on this in order to get to the end in mind is to look after yourself separately from the family. Do enough for yourself till you feel good enough, have enough other friends, other things to do, other interests, a life with your partner, sufficient enough for you to feel okay about continuing to work for that end in mind. But that end in mind and keeping it in your head is a really important part of making step parenting work for you. The other thing that having an end goal in mind in a step family can really help with is that if you have that end goal that you're aiming for, then when opportunities come your way as a family, you can know that you want to take that opportunity. So supposing something comes up and your stepchild is offered to do something and they've got an interest in that, but it's going to cost you money, say. It's much easier if you've got that end goal in mind and you think, what I want is my stepchildren to be independent and self-sufficient and skillful in something they like to do, then you can say, this is a great opportunity for them to reach my end goal in mind. And then you can feel better about allowing your stepchild to go and do that thing, spend more money on that thing, whatever other sacrifices you need to make to enable that to happen. And you have that end goal in mind, which then you can then spot the opportunities more easily that come your way, that can help you to get your family, your step family, your stepchildren to that end goal that you have in mind for them and for you. And this can really happen. But if you don't have an end goal in mind, you have nothing to, you don't know what that is, then you can be swamped and overwhelmed by all the complications and difficulties about being in a step family. It can be a lot, if not too much, but having an end goal in mind can help you get through. Think about it. We run workshops, sessions, an email response service, and we write booklets. Look in the description box below for links to our social media and website.